This is the video animated version of the Radwa and Radwa podcast, where we aim to communicate scientific research to science enthusiasts. We post 4 versions of each episode, in English and Arabic, and in podcast and YouTube video formats. All the links are in the description below. You will also find our references in the description. We are your hosts, Radwa Ewaisha
and Radwa Sharaf,
PhDs, pharmacists, and molecular biologists.
In our episode today, we'll be discussing all the chemicals that are present in our lives. Let's first start by a question. Radwa, why is the word chemical associated with so much negative emotions and feelings?
That's a very good question. I think it's because people fear what is unfamiliar. They are anxious about what is perceived to affect their well-being. And people generally think that chemicals are bad for their health and it's going to affect their health in a negative way. And so that's why it's always associated with a negative reaction. There's this misconception that chemicals are a man-made addition to life and that everything natural is not chemical and that chemical and natural are 2 different things. And so that's why there is a word for this, which is chemophobia. Chemophobia is the fear of chemicals. So some people, unfortunately, look for food, household items, and cosmetics that are quote unquote chemical free, which is not possible. It's not possible to have anything that is chemical free. And usually people think of things that are clean or that are all natural, that they are chemical free. And that's not even a thing. There is no such thing as chemical free.
So you just said that there is no such thing as chemical free. Can you explain a little bit what you mean by that?
So chemicals are the building blocks of life. Everything is a chemical. Our human body is made up of chemicals. We are 65% oxygen, 18% carbon, 10% hydrogen. And these atoms combine with each other in different combinations to make up molecules, which are chemicals. And these chemicals or molecules make up our cells, our tissues, and our organs. So an apple is made of chemicals. Water, sugar, proteins, DNA, these are all examples of chemicals. But people usually think of chemicals as something that is going to negatively impact their health. And that's usually because chemicals have complicated names, or there are things that people don't understand or don't have much background and information on. So I'll give you an example. So something like 4,5-bis-hydroxymethyl-2-methylpyridine-thiol. That sounds too complicated, but it's our own vitamin B12. Usually people think of vitamin B12 as something that is natural or good for their health. They don't think of it as a chemical that is going to negatively impact their health. But in the end, it's just another chemical.
I think a lot of people may be more scared of chemicals that they see as artificial versus chemicals that are natural, like the vitamin B12 example.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. So natural does not necessarily mean better. And so we're going to have a separate episode on this topic to explain the difference between a natural versus an artificial chemical and how this doesn't really impact or dictate whether this is going to be good or bad for our health. And another point is that the dose makes the poison, and that's a topic for another episode as well.
Great. So what do you recommend people do to try to get over this chemophobia?
So that's a very good question. First, we should understand that everything is a chemical. We need to understand our emotional reactions to words such as chemicals, preservatives, and other words that people usually associate with negative emotions and have negative ideas about. We need to start to educate ourselves and learn about the ingredients in food, cosmetics, and household items and know why these ingredients are there and what they're doing, and to learn about their impact on human body. And then ask questions, ask ourselves whether our fear is actually warranted or justified. And then we are going to also talk about these in the next episode, so natural versus artificial and what actually makes something toxic or not toxic.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Feel free to reach out with suggestions for future episodes or leave us a comment directly on our YouTube video. See you next time!